Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. How are you? Chad Thibodeau. Welcome to another Monday Morning Mentor. I'm so glad to have you guys here. Today we are streaming live inside of our night school, and we're also streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube. How many of you guys, you believe that, okay, I can create a product, but I don't know if I can sell the product? And one of the myths that so many people have is, well, I'm just not really good at sales. And one of the things that you believe that you have to become really good at in order to make sales is you believe you have to become good at overcoming objections. In fact, not too long ago, I saw this advertisement on social media for a little black book that was advertising how to come up with, or how to overcome, I guess you should say, the top 250 sales objections. And this was volume 1. And since then, he's come out with volume 2, which is like 500 sales objections, right? And this book is really thick. I bought it. It was not cheap. I bought it. It was a couple $100, I think. And by the way, I got my coffee. And I bought it. And as I started digging through it, I was like, man, this is a lot of stuff. And I could see how a lot of people would get completely overwhelmed if they believe that they've got to overcome all of those sales objections. I mean, that's a ton. That's enough to overwhelm anybody. More or less 2 of those books, so 500. So secretly what this guy's teaching you is that in order to become good at sales, you have to have memorized and mastered 500 different types of objections. Well, I've been in the coaching game for a long time. And the idea that a coach or a service provider would need to master hundreds of different rebuttals just to close a deal, that's paralyzing, okay? If selling coaching was really that complicated, how in the world is anyone closing anything? Okay. By the way, I've got my notes here. I've got, I think, 7-8 pages of notes. I'm not going to get to it all, but it's two-sided. You can see it's really good. If you want these notes, just simply comment notes, and I'll make sure that you guys get this as part of my REV method called Overcoming the 5 Big Sales Objections, and I'm happy to put this in your hand. Okay. As I become a better coach and gain a lot of experience, I've taken hundreds of calls. I've heard so many objections firsthand. I've closed thousands and thousands of deals. And I've realized that there aren't 250 sales objections. There's really only 5. You really only have to learn 5 different sales objections. And honestly, when you boil it down, it really comes down to 2. I'll show you those in just a little bit. But when you strip away all the fluff, almost every objection a prospect gives you will fall into one of these 5 categories. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my iPad, and I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. I'm going to tell you what the 5 are. And then we're going to jump in, and we're going to learn how to overcome those. So let's jump in. Okay, so here are the 5. So the 5 categories why is that not going? There you go. The 5 categories that they're going to fall in is, number 1 is price. Okay, this is probably the biggest one, okay, where they're going to say it's too expensive. So I'm going to show you how to overcome this one here in just a little bit, okay? The second one is, okay, like my spouse or partner, like a business partner, where they're going to come in and say, I need to talk. I need to talk it over, okay? Another one could be time. You know, I just don't have time right now. A fourth one would be like a belief. Like, I'm just not sure this will work. Okay, and the fifth one is going to be, I want to look at other options, okay? Like a competitor, okay? Okay, I want to look at this. So these are really your 5 big objections, okay? And if you can master these 5, then you can really become very, very good at sales. So what I want to do in this training is I want to break these 5 down for you, and I want to show you how to do this. Now, I want you to notice this is 5, not 250, more or less 500, Okay, and if you master these, and you can basically handle virtually any objection that is thrown your way. Now, why do I tell you this? The reason why I tell you this is because objections are not rejections. Okay, write that down. Objections are not rejections. They're buying signals in disguise. So when I was in college, I used to sell what was called a rainbow vacuum cleaner. I don't know if you guys have ever had the rainbow, but a rainbow vacuum cleaner was a different type of vacuum cleaner, and it was based upon water, right? So like instead of having a bag, it had water, and you would suck the dirt in, and the dirt would get into the water because water and dirt really don't mix all that well. The dirt would cling to the water, and it wouldn't get out. Okay, and it was supposed to increase airflow and supposed to increase air quality. And these things were expensive. So back when I was selling them in the mid 90s, they were like $2,000 back then. They're much more than that right now. And one thing that I learned selling a rainbow vacuum cleaner is this one principle. That if when you are making a pitch and you're selling a product, if they ask a question, that is a sign that they're interested. If they ask a question. If they don't ask a question, then you really got your work cut out for you. Okay, you really got your work cut out for you. But if they ask a question, then that is a sign that they're interested. Something else that I've learned is if they give you an objection other than no thank you, then that's really a buying signal in disguise. Because when a prospect gives you an objection, what they're really saying is, I'm interested, but I need some help getting to yes. And your job is to guide them through that hesitation and help them make the right decision. And when handled correctly, overcoming an objection will actually increase trust because they know that you care about their needs. So you have to be able to put yourself in this position. Here's the mind frame that I want you to get, okay? The mind frame is, so let's say we're selling this cup of coffee, okay? The mind frame is I want to sell this cup of coffee because I need to make money. You're going to have a mindset around hawk this thing no matter what. Another mindset is this cup of coffee really is going to benefit your life? And my responsibility as a person making the sale is to get you to understand how important this coffee is in your life. And if I can help you understand how important this coffee is into your life, now what happens is the position shift. So the mindset has to shift first. So it's got to be from I'm trying to hawk this product to like this product could really help them, and my job is to help them see how it can help them. Okay. The second thing is so you have to shift your mindset. The second thing is you have to shift your position. You have to shift your position from salesperson to partner. Okay, salesperson to partner. So a salesperson is like this. So we're going to use my notes here. By the way, I've got like a ton of notes. If you want them, just comment notes. So a salesperson is this. So this is our wall. Okay, this is our barrier. On this side is a customer, and on this side is a salesperson. And so what happens is sometimes you're speaking through a wall trying to get to your customer, right? And you can't do it. It's really, really difficult. So what you have to do is instead of being on the opposite side of the wall, you have to figure out a way how to get both of you on the same side of the wall. Okay, and then the wall becomes the objection or the target or the hurdle that we're trying to remove, and we're trying to remove it together. So now you're not selling to someone, you're selling with someone. You're partnering with someone to try to overcome something. This is what I do in coaching. Like, I don't try to sell coaching. It's easy to sell coaching. I don't want to sell coaching. Because if I sell you at coaching and you didn't really want to buy my coaching, you're going to be a pain in the neck, right? And I don't want that. I don't like pain in the neck clients. Lord knows I've had plenty of them. I don't want them, okay? Knock on wood, I'm at a situation right now where I don't have one pain in the neck client. Every client that I have right this moment, I love, I adore. And I'm on the same side with them, and we are working together to get a result. I love that, okay? So what I have to do when I'm selling coaching is I have to reposition myself, and I have to talk with them about like what are their common goals, what are we going to do together, okay? And we're going to overcome that obstacle, and we're going to overcome it together. Now, when you do that, when you change your positioning, objections become so much easier, okay? Because now it's like you've become a trusted friend. And it's very difficult to tell friends no. Okay? So when they say, I'm interested, when they give you an objection, really what they're saying is, I'm interested, I just need help getting to a yes. It's much easier helping them get to a yes when you've repositioned yourself as you are on their team, and together you're trying to overcome a situation. I remember I used to coach a bunch of fitness coaches, right? And so I'm like, as long as you're trying to sell your mousetrap of, my fitness coach is going to get you skinnier than anything else, as long as that's what you're trying to do, you're always going to have a very low conversion rate. You're always going to come up with tons and tons of objections because you're trying to sell them as opposed to partnering with them. So I teach them how to ask proper questions to get on the same side with them. So now together, they're tackling their weight loss journey together. So then the next logical step, which is point number 3, is you have to create a next logical step. So number 1, you have to reposition your mindset. Number 2, you have to reposition you have to master your mindset. 2, you have to reposition yourself so you're on the same side as them, not opposed to them. And the third thing that you have got to be able to do is when it comes time for making sales, is you have got to establish goals that the two of you are going to try to accomplish together. This is the partnership, okay? And so you're the partner. You've reestablished your goals, and now together you're trying to attack that, okay? And when you do that, your trust increases massively because they understand that now you're no longer trying to use like a high pressure tactic or manipulation. Now what you're doing is you are now trying to get in their head and understand the psychology behind their objections. And then you can address the real concerns underneath and lead the prospect to a confident yes. That's what you're trying to do. So you got to master the mindset. You have to reposition yourself as your partner. And then together, everybody say together, you guys are trying to overcome the obstacle. That's what real good salespeople do. And so you got to be able to do that. So that's not selling. I have an entire program. In fact, if you guys sign up for night school, I'll give it to you. But we have an entire program called the Rev Method, okay, on how I show you how to do that exact thing. Because once you do that, you have no problem selling. So let's jump into the 5 objections, and let's see if we can tackle these one at a time. And then, of course, if you would like my notes, just simply comment notes, and I'll get these to you, okay? The key is to remain confident. So when you're making a sale, you got to remain confident. You have to stay in control, and you have to become their guide. You have to guide them to a decision that serves them best. And I will tell you, buying your product may not be the best thing for them. It may not be the best thing for them. We just had a client here, a couple Mondays ago. I was on a sales call just talking with this particular person, and I was trying to sell them our $50,000 CAVU coaching program, which is my highest end done-for-you coaching system that we have. And I really believe that we could help this particular person. But as I mastered my mindset and I reshifted the position and I became her partner in overcoming the obstacle, what I really learned was this person's not there yet. Even though this is what they need, they're not there yet, okay? And so what I ended up doing them is I actually ended up giving them a scholarship into our night school program. So they're probably watching this right now. So they could come in and we could get them to where they needed to get, so then they ultimately could buy. So sometimes you have to know that buying your stuff may not be the best thing. So if you master these frameworks, you're going to increase your close rate. You're going to shorten the sales cycle and create stronger, more committed clients. So that's what we're doing. So when you overcome these 5 objections, here's what you're doing. You're going to increase your close rate. You're going to shorten your sales cycle. And you're going to create stronger, more committed clients. So let me ask you this. How many of you guys want to learn how to increase your close rate, shorten your sales cycle, and create stronger, more committed clients? Well, if you do that, you have to learn to overcome these 5 objections. Here they are. Number 1, okay? Price. Okay, it's too expensive. Objection number 1. And this is the biggie. This is the granddaddy of all objections. It's just too expensive, okay? Even though price is the most common objection in sales, it's almost never about the actual dollars. It's about the perceived value. Now, sometimes it's about the dollars, right? So sometimes people are just broke. They're broke as a joke. They got no money, and they could want it all, but you can't squeeze any more juice out of that turnip. Okay, I get that. I understand that. Sometimes that's what it's about. But it's rare. Okay, it's rare. And so you can't be duped by that. You got to have discernment and wisdom as you're looking at the situation. So it's almost never about the actual dollars. It's about the perceived value. What they're telling you when they give you a price objection is that you have not done a very good job of showing me that what you're trying to sell me is worth that much money. And they begin to hesitate at the price because they're not convinced that the return will outweigh the cost. Okay? Your job isn't to justify the price. Your job is to reposition the conversation so they see it as an investment in their future, an investment in their success, and an investment in their transformation. Okay? And so you've got to be able to do this. So there's a few ways that you can do this. So there's I'll give you the 5 ways that you can overcome price. There's really 6, but I'll give you 5, and I may throw a bonus in a minute. Okay. The first thing is you have to isolate it. Okay. You have to find out if this is really the objection. Okay. So got it. Besides price, is there anything else stopping you from moving forward today? Okay. You got to figure that out, because if it's something other than price, and they're telling you price, if you go and you fix the price and you haven't fixed that objection, then they're still not going to buy. So you have to, number one, you have to isolate the objection. Okay. Hey, if we figured out the price, you would move forward today. Like you got to figure out a way how to object it. Okay. So if you say, okay, hey, besides price, is there anything else stopping you from moving forward? And if they say no, then you've isolated price as the only barrier. Then you have to confirm their commitment. So you isolate the price and then confirm it. Okay. So if we figured out the price, you'd move forward today. That's one, isolate. Then number 2, you have to reconfirm the commitment. Okay. So you've isolated the objection and confirmed that was the objection. And then number 2, you have to reconfirm the commitment. So once you've isolated the objection, reconfirm that this is the only issue by doing what we call a double tie down. Now, I got to give credit where credit is due. So Tanner Chittister, the CEO of Elite CEOs, I used to do a bunch of work with him when I was the head of coaching for Elite CEOs. He taught this principle, and I loved it, and I've adopted it into what I do. So I want to give credit where credit is due. This is an idea that I got from Tanner. This is called the double tie down. Okay, this is what a double tie down is. Okay, so once you've isolated the objection, reconfirm that this is their only issue by doing the double tie down. Here's what a double tie down is. Okay, a double tie down is, so just to be sure, if I can make the price work for you, are you ready to move forward today? I just want to make sure we're not solving this only to uncover another concern later. Okay, that's called a double tie down. So you tied them down earlier, and you said, okay, if I can get fixed price, we're good to go. They said yes, and then you double tie down, and you get a double commitment. Okay, if they hesitate or introduce another concern, then price really isn't the issue. There's something deeper. If they say yes, you now have permission to discuss pricing options. Okay. Step 3 of how to overcome price. Okay? Instead of assuming that they can't afford it, you need to ask about their financial options, okay? So they get to a point where they really want your product, okay? We used to do this in the Rainbow vacuum cleaner world. So they love the Rainbow. They want the Rainbow. The Rainbow is going to change their life. The Rainbow is going to get rid of their allergies. The Rainbow is going to solve the asthma problem for their daughter. The Rainbow is going to keep them from ever having to have a traditional vacuum cleaner again. The Rainbow is going to, it's their answer to prayer, right? The problem is they can't afford it. So one of the things they taught us was, instead of assuming, because people lie, instead of assuming they can't afford it, ask about their financial options. Okay. Hey, let's talk a little bit about this. Okay. Hey, what's your current cash on hand situation? Let me see if I can do something. Okay. It's a solid, legitimate question. You know they want it. Price is the only objection. Now you can move into financial discovery. Okay. So what's your current cash on hand situation look like? Hey, or you could ask, like, hey, if this were an emergency, what would you do to come up with the cash? Okay. So you can figure that out. If this is too uncomfortable, you could say something like, hey, if I could figure out a payment plan for you, what's the most amount of money you could afford to put down today? Okay? So you could ask a question like that. Hey, if I could figure this out for you, what's the most amount of money and then you have to be quiet. Okay. And what this does is this shifts the focus from affordability to resources. And that's what you want. You've got to, like, if price is the objection, but they really want your product, you have to create a different type of objection, right? So you have to create, like, okay, this one's solved. You can't use this one anymore. So now let's move it from affordability to resources, okay? Many times people have the money, they just haven't connected to the dots yet. So sometimes your job as a salesperson is to help them connect the dots. So do a financial discovery, okay? What's your current cash on hand? If this were an emergency, what would you do to find the money? If I could figure out a payment plan for you, what's the most amount of money you could afford to put down today, okay? Number 4 in overcoming price is offer a custom payment plan, okay? So for instance, like, we have a Yellow Brick Road coaching, which is $12,500. Not everybody has $12,500 to pay, okay? At least not in one lump sum, but they really need and they really want the program. So we've come up with a financial process that says, okay, it's $5,000 down, and then 6 payments of $1,250, okay? But with the $5,000 down, you get an in-person 2-day Yellow Brick Road intensive, which is like doing 90 days of coaching in just 2 days, where I'll fly to you or you can fly to me. Sometimes I'll bring my business partner, John, with me, okay? And we'll do a 2-day Yellow Brick Road intensive and get you from idea to launch in just those 2 days, okay? So you're making money before your next payment is due. That's the goal of the Yellow Brick Road. It's $5,000, so you don't have to pay all $12,500. It's $5,000 down and then 6 payments of $1,250. Now, the carrot that we use to get the $5,000 is we're going to fly to you, and we're going to give an entire 2-day intensive with you and get you up, running, launch, live before we leave those 2 days. So you're making money, or at least your ecosystem is on before we leave. That's worth $5,000. It's worth 3 times that. Okay, so we're going to collapse time for them. We're going to hold their hand for them, and then they're going to get me in person. So now they got proximity, so their confidence should go up, okay? So they pay $5,000 down, $1,250. Well, Chad, I can't afford $5,000. Okay, well, wonderful. Okay, what can you afford? Okay, what could you afford to put down? Oh, you can afford to put $2,500 down? Fantastic. I can't come to you in person, but if you want to come to me, I can spend a day with you. I can't do the full 2-day Yellow Brick Road, but we can put a big dent in that process, and here's what we can do, okay? Or, if you want, we have another program where we can eliminate the Yellow Brick Road, where you don't get the 2-day intensive, but we can stretch your payments out over the course of a year. So instead of $5,000 down and 6 payments of $1,250, it's just a year of $1,250, okay? So you can get really creative with what we call creating a custom payment plan. You've got to be flexible. Because once you understand their financial position, present a flexible solution. Because remember, you're trying to get on their side. When you're doing this, you can't be talking fast. You can't be sweating. You can't be doing all this. I remember, I don't know, 20 years ago now it had to be. My ex-wife and I went to Cancun on a little honeymoon type thing. And we got there, and we were staying at the really nice Hilton right on the water. And when we checked into the Hilton, this guy met us and said something to the effect of, we'd like to upgrade you from a regular room to the presidential suite, or it was one of the suites, honeymoon suite, presidential suite, a nice room, okay? We'd like to upgrade you that. Plus, we'd like to give you complimentary buffet breakfast every morning while you're here, and it was like $40 a person for that. We'd like to give you complimentary breakfast, and we'd love to give you 2 VIP tickets to this park called Ishkaret, and normally it's like $150 a person, so it was a really good deal. It was like a $2,000 upgrade, okay, plus food, plus this park, and all you got to do is sit through a 1-hour timeshare presentation. We're like, what the heck, we got time? So we did it. So we go to this timeshare presentation, we're sitting in there, and you can look this guy up, okay? He's a total schemester and a fraud. His name is Raphael Septien, okay? I remember this guy's name. That's how terrible it was. But Raphael Septien. And what he was doing, and only in Mexico can you do this, he was trying to get me drunk. So he kept offering me beers and shots of tequila and vodka and all this good stuff. And because I guess when you're drunk, tipsy, you can make some poor decisions, and that's what he was trying to get us to do. So I sort of read through that. So after one beer, I stopped. But this guy, when he got to the point and we kept saying no, I mean, he's like literally dripping wet with sweat. Okay, dripping wet with sweat. And if I could do this, 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 and it was something. It was crazy. So it was like he was trying to sell us a $40,000 package, and basically by the time he was done, like lowering his rate and everything like that, and making all these flexible financial issues, it was down to like $3,500, and he would let us pay the $3,500 off over the course of 2 years. It was like whatever. It was so cheap, and we were like, the upgrades we're gonna get is more than that, so let's just do it, right? So we did it. And this guy was like literally like, sweating and everything like that. And so we did this upgrade. We bought the timeshare. And come to find out, it was a total scam. Like none of it was legitimate, right? And so we got the 10-year timeshare like he promised. But what we didn't know was to use the 10-year timeshare, we had to pay a $1,500 maintenance and cleaning fee every week we were there. Now, let me put this in perspective. The rooms were only $199 a night. So if we just went and stayed at the hotel for a week, 7 days, that's $1,500. To stay there for free, we had to pay $1,500. So it wasn't a deal at all. Basically, all he was doing was selling us the room rate. And we paid him $3,500 for the privilege of us not having to reserve, right? But we still had to pay the $1,500, and it was so bad. It was so terrible. And we ended up turning him in, and now we've Googled him, and I think he's in prison right now for this scam he was doing. But the reason why I tell you that is if you start sweating and you get really nervous or whatever, that's a great sign you're still on the side of sales. You're not on the side of partner, okay? You should never be nervous about trying to get people this product. You should never be nervous about that, because when you put yourself on the side of partner, you're their partner, okay? So you have to be able to understand their financial situation and then offer a custom payment plan. And then number 5, you do the nothing but all-in close, okay? If they still hesitate, it's time to shift the conversation from price to the cost of inaction, okay? Okay, let's be real. There's only 2 outcomes from this conversation. Either you move forward today and start getting results, or you do nothing and stay exactly where you are, okay? The problem you came to me with is still going to be there, okay? It's still going to be there. So the real question is, what's going to cost you more, the investment or staying stuck? And so this is where you got to put your coach hat on. Don't put your sleazy sales hat on. Put your coach hat on. Okay, listen, okay? You came to me because you wanted to lose 35 pounds. Okay, so you either make the investment and let's partner together and let's get that 35 pounds off of you, or you don't make the investment, you stay stuck, you keep spinning your wheels, and 1 year from now, you're still going to be in the same exact position, and you're going to have regret you didn't start. Okay, so you got to coach them. And so what you have to do is you have to position inaction as the bigger risk. You have to make them rethink the hesitation. You're not pushing them into a decision. You're helping them see the real cost of delaying their success. So that's how you overcome the price objection. Okay, once again, if you want these notes, I've got 8 pages. I'm running out of time. I'm not going to get to all of these, but you'll get the idea. If you want them, just put notes in the comments and I'll get them to you. So that's the price. That's how you overcome price. Okay? Number 2, the spouse objection. This is the I need to talk with my wife or my husband or my partner or my business partner or whatever. I need to talk with somebody because I don't have permission to make this call on my own, okay? How do you overcome that? Okay. Number 1, same thing. You have to isolate the true objection. You have to make sure this is actually the objection. You'll learn that anytime you have a sales objection, you have to make sure it's actually the objection, okay? So your first job is to uncover whether the spouse is actually the issue or if it's just a way to avoid making a decision. Okay, here's how you do it. Hey, I totally get it. Let me ask you this. What would you do if they said no? Okay, what would you do if they said? At this point, they're going to answer one of 2 ways. Number 1, they're going to say, well, I'd still do it. I still want to lose the weight, or I still do it. I still want to make the money, or whatever. If they say this, close the sale immediately. Done, okay? If they say, well, then I wouldn't do it, now you know the spouse isn't the real objection, it's something deeper, okay? Okay? Once they admit they'd move forward without their spouse's approval, you have to ask, I think I typed that wrong. What do you think their biggest concern would be? Okay? What do you think their biggest concern would be? Okay? You got to know why they want to talk with their significant other. What do you think their biggest concern would be? Okay? So just to be sure, I'm sorry, most of the time, they will say, my notes got out of order, so forgive me. I was trying to show off my notes, and I got them out of order, so please forgive me. Give me 1 second to put these back in order. There we go. Okay. There you go. So got it. So what do you think their biggest concern would be? Most of the time, they're going to say price. And this tells you that price, not the spouse, is the real issue. So if it's price, not the spouse, then you move back to the price objection. Okay? You've got to be able to do that. Then you have to do, number 3, what's called the past agreements technique. So number 1, isolate through objection. Number 2, identify that it's really the spouse's, what their spouse would object. And then number 3, you have to do what's called the past agreements technique. If they insist the spouse needs to be involved, use the past agreements technique to shift their perspective. Did your spouse know you were on the call today? Yes. Did they know you're serious about making change? Yes. If the roles were reversed and your spouse wanted to make a decision to improve their life, would you support them? And what this does is this forces them to recognize that their spouse likely wants them to succeed, making it harder for them to use them as the excuse. Okay? So you pass it on. Well, would your spouse want you to make this change in your life? Well, great. Well, let's just do it. Okay? Number 4, you have to do what's called the risk-free deposit close. Okay? If they still hesitate, offer a refundable deposit to lower their perceived risk. Hey, I totally respect that. Hey, if you're at least 51% sure you want to move forward, let's do this. Put down a small refundable deposit today. If your spouse has concerns, I'll refund it, no problem. Sound fair? So you get them to say yes, do a small non-refundable deposit so you can get the ball moving forward. And within 24 hours, if your spouse still says no, no problem, give me a call, shoot me a text, shoot me an email, and I'll refund it, no problem. Sound fair? Okay. If they refuse, it doesn't necessarily mean they aren't serious. It might just indicate that the real objection hasn't surfaced yet. At this point, shift the conversation by saying, I hear you. Let's take a step back. When you first considered this, what was it that made you feel like this could be the right fit for you? Okay? And what this does is this refocuses them on their initial motivation and allows you to uncover any unresolved hesitations in a non-confrontational way. Okay? And that's super important. So if you're going to overcome the spouse objection, number 1, isolate it, make sure it's a true objection. Number 2, identify their spouse's biggest concern. Chances are it's price, so you have to go back and do the price objection. Number 3, do the past agreements technique, which is, did your spouse know you're on the call? Do they know you're serious about the change? And if the roles reverse and your spouse wanted to make a decision to improve their life, would you support them? And why would you think she wouldn't support you or he wouldn't support you? Okay. Number 4, do the risk-free deposit close that says, listen, if you're at least 51% you want to do this, okay, let's throw down a deposit. Let's get you moving forward. Within 24 hours, if your significant other says no problem, shoot me a text. I'll refund you your deposit. No harm, no foul. But let's take advantage of the program today. Let's take advantage, and it's like a price. Like you get a discount on the price, you get these bonuses. I want you to have all this today. So, put together a $250 deposit today, and then so we can lock this in, get you moving forward. I can get the team, starting on the onboarding process, and then in 24 hours, if your spouse says no way, Jose, no problem, shoot me a text message. I'll shoot you that $250 back immediately. Okay, no questions asked, and no harm, no foul. Okay. Number 3, the third type of objection, okay? And once again, my notes are a little out of order, so I apologize about that, but it is what it is, okay? The third one is what we call the competitor comparison, or I want to explore other options. This is really number 5, but it's okay. These are not in any order, okay? I want to explore other options. This objection happens when a prospect isn't fully sold on your solution yet, okay? They might be considering another provider, unsure about making a decision, or simply using it as a polite way to delay saying no. Let me give you an example. So right now I'm shopping a new CPA and tax advisor for my business, okay? So I'm shopping this. So anytime you go on Google and you put in like tax or CPA or whatever, you start getting bombarded with ads. And then when you open up one of those ads, you get bombarded with more ads. And so right now I've got I'm on 3 different companies' calendars to shop a CPA and tax advisor for this week, okay? One of them happens in about an hour and a half. I'm not ready to buy. So I could be completely sold on this guy on call 1, and I'm not buying. The reason I'm not buying is because I've got 3 calls booked, and I want to hear all 3 out, okay? So I'm not going to say no to those other 2 today, unless it's just such a good offer that I can't say no, and he does such a good job of building my trust that I got to go with him on this call, okay? So, but typically what happens is when they say I want to explore other options, this is typically when a prospect isn't fully sold on your solution yet, okay? They might be considering another provider, unsure about making a decision, or simply use it as a polite way to say no. Your goal is to pinpoint the real hesitation, then differentiate your offer and help them make a decision. Now, this is what you don't want to do. What you don't want to do is you don't want to badmouth the competitors. Oh, yeah, but those people are scams. Or, yeah, but those people are terrible. Or, those people. No, you don't want to do that. Okay? Remember, you're not a salesperson. You're a partner. So when they say, I need to think about it, what they're really saying is one of 2 things. Number 1, you haven't quite convinced me that going with you is the right decision. Or number 2, they don't want to say no outright, so they stall. Okay? And your job is to uncover which one it is and to help them move forward. So step number 1, you have to acknowledge and align. Okay? Oh, I totally get that. This is an important decision. And you want to make sure you're choosing the right solution. That makes perfect sense to me. By validating their concern, what happens is you lower their defenses and you keep them engaged. You know what? I totally understand. This is an important decision. Can I ask you a question? Okay? What specifically do you need to think about? Like what's going on? If they hesitate, they may not have a real answer. And that's just a sign they're stalling. But if they give you something specific, like, hey, I need to compare this to another program, or I'm just not sure it's the right time, then you now have something tangible to work with. So that's your goal in overcoming objections is how can I make this tangible? Okay, so if they come and say, I want to check somebody else out, acknowledge and align, I get it. Can I ask you what you need to think about? Validate their concern and align it. Number 2, uncover what they're really looking for. Okay? You've got to get clarity. Okay, hey, just so I can help, what exactly are you hoping to find in another option that you haven't seen here? It's a great question. What exactly are you hoping to find in another option that you haven't seen here? If they don't have a clear answer, they're just stalling and you can move them toward a decision. Okay? If they mention concerns, you know that you have now something to address. Okay? And once you uncover their hesitation, tackle it directly. So if they're unsure about the program, what would you need to happen for you to feel 100% confident moving forward today? If they're worried about timing, I get that. But let's be honest. If not now, when? Has waiting ever made this easier? Okay? If they're comparing options, what are you hoping to find elsewhere that you haven't found here? Those are 3 great questions that you can ask, okay? And you're engaging them in dialogue. If they're engaging you in dialogue, they're still interested. If they just put a wall up and say, dude, get the heck off the call, then you may need to just get the heck off the call. But if they're engaging you in conversation, you know that the initial objection of you just haven't convinced me yet is still there, and so you need to keep being curious so you can do that, okay? Number 3, differentiate and reframe. So once you understand what's on their mind, position your offer as the best choice. Hey, I hear you. And here's what I can tell you. Our clients have looked at all the options out there, and what they find is that nothing else offers XYZ unique advantages. For example, if your offer provided faster results, highlight it. If your offer has better long-term ROI, showcase it. If your competitors lack personalized support, call it out. But what you can't do is you can't say other people don't have this as good as yours if other people have it as good as yours. Let me give you an example. One of the biggest things people say is when I ask them what makes their product unique is, oh, well, we care. You think you're the only person in the world that cares? You think that's what makes your product different is we care? No. Oh, well, we have really good customer service. You don't think everybody else thinks they have really good customer service? So if you're getting this objection a lot, really what's happened is you haven't done the dirty work of getting in there and understanding what makes your product unique, and you need to get in there and figure out what makes your product unique. That's it. And once you're convinced that your product is unique, then it's easy for them to be convinced that your product is unique. But if you haven't done that work, then why should they do it for you? Okay? So you have to know what makes you different. And then when you know what makes your product different, then you can reframe the decision. Okay? At the end of the day, it's not about finding another option. It's about finding the right solution. Based upon what you've told me so far, this checks all the boxes. Let's get started and move you forward today. Let's get you moving on your goals. Okay? So you're guiding them. Or you could say, I completely respect wanting to think it through, but let's be real. More time is not going to give you new information. It just delays the decision. Right now, you have everything you need to decide. So let's make sure you're making the right decision for your future. What's your gut telling you? And then open up the conversation. Step number 4. This is called the decision close. If they're still hesitant, use this simple but effective close, okay? I completely understand wanting to explore your options, but let's take a step back. What's the most important factor for you in making this decision? If this solution checks the boxes, would it make sense to just move forward today? And what this does is this forces them to consider whether waiting will actually help them or just delay the progress. By the way, I know there's a lot of stuff. If you want my notes, just put notes in the comments, and I'm happy to give this to you, okay? The 4th objection is the belief objection, okay? I'm not sure this will work for me, okay? The belief objection isn't about money, time, or competitors. It's about self-doubt. The prospect is questioning either the program's ability to deliver results, like does this actually work, or their own ability to follow through and succeed. So if you study Russell Brunson very much, you know that in his perfect webinar system, he talks about 3 limiting beliefs that you have to overcome. Okay, 1 is an internal belief, 2 is an external belief, and 3rd is the vehicle belief. Okay, those are really the beliefs that you have to figure out here. External belief, okay? Internal belief. Can I do this? Do I have what it takes to get this particular result? External belief, okay? Will this help me do what I want to do? And vehicle belief, is this system the right system that's going to help me accomplish that, okay? So those are the 3 beliefs: internal, external, and vehicle, okay? So internal belief. If they have an internal belief that they just can't do it, you're going to have to put on your coaching hat here, and you're going to have to motivate them and encourage them and get them believing that they can do it. External belief. Is this going to help me accomplish what it is that I want to accomplish? Okay, so the difference between an internal and external is internal says, you know what, I really want to lose weight. I don't know if I have that self-discipline. Internal belief. External belief is, I don't know if losing weight is really going to help me find a better partner. I don't know if losing weight is going to add time to my life. I don't know if losing weight is going to make me better at sales, whatever. External, okay? And vehicle is, I don't know if your system is the best system to help me lose weight. Okay, so internal, external, vehicle. So you have to frame your belief objections based upon those 3. Which ones are they? Okay, so it's not about time, money, or competitors. It's about self-doubt. Internal, external, vehicle. Okay, so let's look at them. Step number 1, you have to affirm and identify the real concern. Okay, so before you challenge their doubt, you need to make them feel heard and understood. I hear you. You're making an investment, and you want to be sure you'll see real results. That's completely valid. Let's break that down together, okay? And then what you want to do is you want to pinpoint where their doubt is coming from, okay? You need to find out, is it an internal belief, an external belief, or a vehicle belief? Or is it all 3, or 2 of the 3? Is your concern whether the program itself works or whether you'll be able to execute on it? Okay, so what this does is this is an internal versus vehicle. Okay, is you're concerned whether the program itself works or whether you'll be able to execute on it. If they doubt the program, then move to step 2. If they doubt themselves, move to step 3. Okay. Step number 2 is show proof and certainty. Okay, so if they're doubting the program, what you need to do is you need to show testimonials and proof. Hey, that makes total sense. A lot of people feel that way at first. Here's what I can tell you, okay? Here's what this person did. 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 And what you're going to do is you're going to do 3 things. You're going to, number 1, give a case study. One of our clients' name had the same concern, but within 90 days, they achieved this result. Okay? I guarantee reinsurance. Hey, this system is built on proven strategies that have helped 5,200 people get this particular result. Okay? Or 3 compared to others. Hey, if this didn't work, we wouldn't have so many repeat clients and referrals. Okay? So what you can do is you could overcome that objection with case studies, guarantee reinsurance, and comparison to others. So once you do that, then ask, okay, so does that help you feel more confident about the process? If yes, close the sale. If no, move to step 3. Step 3 is overcoming self-doubt. Okay, this is if they doubt themselves. If the real issue is they don't trust themselves, then let's reframe it. Okay, reframe their mindset. Hey, I hear you. Let me ask. Have you ever been in a situation where you weren't sure if you could succeed, but you pushed through anyway and figured it out? And get them to recall a time when they overcame doubt. See, this is coaching right here. Show them that they've already succeeded in similar situations. What I learned is most of the time, you don't have to be a salesperson. You have to be a coach. You have to guide them. You have to encourage them. They just need encouragement. And it's about them. It's not about you. Okay? Show them they've already succeeded in similar situations and then reframe their hesitation. Hey, this isn't about being ready. No one is ever 100% ready for growth. The real question is are you committed to getting the result you want? Because if you are, we'll be right here to help you every single step of the way. Okay? That's what you have to do. And then once you've done that, move to step 4, which is the confident close. Hey, you're at a crossroads. You can either wait, stay in the same place, and keep wondering what could happen, or you could take the first step toward change. The only way to know for sure is to move forward. So what's your next move? And then be quiet. So what's your next move? Or sometimes I'll come in and say, hey, listen, what comes first? Action or motivation? Okay? Always action. You're never motivated to do something until you do it. And then once you do it, then the motivation follows, okay? If motivation came before action, you would have done it already because you've been motivated before. You just haven't taken the action. So let's get action in motion and then let the momentum catch up, the motivation catch up. And then I'll go and I'll give them a definition of momentum. I'll go in and I'll say something like, Andy Stanley says, momentum is simply forward motion fueled by a series of wins. So what I want to do as your coach is I want to get you some forward motion. I want to get you moving today, and then I want to outline your first 2, 3, or 4 wins, and then let's get those little wins. So let's identify them, and I'll go right into coaching them right there, even before they bought. I'll go into coaching them right there. Hey, so let's do this. I'm going to grab a pencil and piece of paper, and what I want to do is I want to set some goals together. Okay, so what's your big goal? Oh, your big goal is to create a 6-figure coaching business. Great, wonderful. Okay, what's something that you would like if I could help you get a result in the next 7 days, what's one result you would like? Okay. Oh, you'd like a lead magnet. Okay, bam, lead magnet. Okay. Oh, you would like an onboarding system. Okay, great. Oh, you would like a funnel. Okay, I tell you what, jump on board today, and what I will do is I will personally pay for my team to build a lead magnet funnel out for you in the next 7 days. Is that fair? That way we can get you some momentum and get you moving forward quickly. That's the confident close, okay? And what this does is it shifts their fear to action. And if they still hesitate, loop back to step 2, okay? And remember step 2 was show proof and certainty. Step 3 is overcome self-doubt. And step 4 is the confident close, okay? Let's move to the 5th objection, which is time, okay? Which is time. And this is the weakest of all objections. I don't have the time right now, okay? The time objection is rarely about actual time. In fact, I'm going to say it's almost never about actual time. More often than not, it's a polite way of saying this isn't a priority for me right now. Your job is to shift their perspective and show them why now is the best time to take action. Okay? So I want to jump into this. A lot of times when I tell people what I do for a living, and I'm a full-time business coach, and I'm starting 2 companies on the side, and then I just partnered with another company, so I've really got 3 companies, 3 side hustles I'm working on right now. Plus, I'm a professional basketball referee, and I'll referee about 250 basketball games a year. Plus, I'll do about 50 to 60 volleyball games a year. Here's what everybody always tells me: "Oh my gosh, you're so busy." I'm like, well, I think we're all busy. Let me ask you a question. Out of the 24 hours you had yesterday, how many of those hours did you not use? Oh, you used all 24 hours? Oh, I did too, right? So it's not that you're busy. It's just that you choose to spend your 24 hours different than I do, okay? But we both spent all 24 hours, so we're all busy. So busy is never an objection. So when somebody tells me that they're too busy, I'm always like, what's so crazy about busy is, excuse me, every time I think that I'm not going to be busy, something happens and I fill that time. In fact, I don't think I've ever had a day where I've not spent all 24 hours. I've spent all of them all the time. So it's not that you're busy. We're all busy. It's just we gotta make this a priority. So listen, if you're going to lose that weight, hey, listen, if you're going to get that business started, hey, listen, if you're going to work on that relationship or whatever it is you're selling, then you're never not going to be busy. Because here's what we know about time, is time has a way of always getting you to use it. So you're never going to not be busy. So when people tell me that, like, hey, well, I'll do it after this, or I'll do it after homecoming, or I'll do it after prom, or I'll do it whatever. I mean, hold on a second. You're going to have something else that comes up that keeps you busy. So it's never the right time. That's why you haven't done it yet. So what I want to do is I want to love on you, and I want to love on you enough to tell you that this time thing you're giving me, that's just an excuse. It's just giving an excuse. And what you really need is you need a guide. Okay? You need a guide. You need somebody who's going to put their proverbial foot in your butt and help you accomplish the goal that you want. Okay, that's what I want to do. So what I like to do is step number 1, I like to affirm and reframe. I completely understand timing is important. Life gets busy. Let's look at it from another angle. Has waiting ever made achieving this goal easier? If you wait another 6 months, do you think things will slow down? Or will you still be in the same position wishing you started today? Then challenge their logic, okay? Step 2, prioritize the solution. Often when people say they don't have time, what they really mean is this isn't a priority. So let's put time aside for a second. Would you agree that solving problem, whatever you're solving, starting your business, losing the weight, whatever you're solving, is important to you? Yes, it's important to me, okay? Great. If they say yes, you've shifted the conversation from time to commitment, and that's what you're trying to do. If they say no, then time isn't the issue. You need to uncover the real objection. Then you got to reposition it. If this is important to you, then the question isn't about time, it's about prioritizing the right things. If we can make this work within your schedule, is there anything else that would hold you back? So see how I've tied it down? Great. Nothing else would hold you back? Then let's just do it. Let's just do it now. Okay? You're not going to get less busy. Okay? Listen, we all have 9 to 5s. Okay? We all have 9 to 5s, but we also have 5 to 9s. So what if we do this? What if 2 days a week, and I tell a lot of moms this, what if 2 days a week, instead of you making your kids dinner, what if you go to Salad and Go and pick up Salad and Go for people, and it's going to buy you that 90 minutes that you would use to make dinner. Eat Salad and Go with your kids, and then take that 90 minutes that you normally would use, slaving in front of the stove. Let's put that into your business. Okay, so for the next 30 days, can you give me those 90 minutes 2 days a week? Or give me that 1 hour slot 2 days a week? And let's just make it happen. And so sometimes what I do when I'm selling is I overcome and provide a different solution for them, okay? So I affirm and reframe, I prioritize the solution, and then step 3, I reframe the decision. I learned this from John Allen Turner, my business partner. He's so good at this. He can give this training so much better than I can. he'll say, do you know what the word decide means? I mean, you think about it. And he'll go in and he'll say, well, it comes from the Latin word, and he'll use the last four letters, side, okay? What other words can you think about with the word side in them? Like he'll say homicide, suicide, pesticide. And he goes, what that really means, it literally means to cut off or to kill, okay? And when you make a decision, you're cutting off or killing other options and committing to a path forward. And the reason, if I could just love on you for a second, the reason why you don't have time isn't because you don't have time. It's because you, instead of killing things that really don't matter, you've killed the thing that does matter. And you've prioritized other people's needs over your own dreams. And what I want you to do for the next 90 days is I want you to make a decision. I want you to put off or cut off things that you think are priorities for other people, and I want you to elevate yourself. Because at the end of the day, when you get this business going, or when you lose that weight, or when you whatever it is you're selling, this is what's going to happen. This is how you're going to feel. And so what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll teach them about decide. It means to cut off, means to kill. And right now what you're doing is you're putting yourself off. And I'll go into everything. Like, I get it. This is what we learned. But it's not getting you anywhere, and it's actually hindering you from being effective in certain areas of your life. And you can't show up the way you want to show up because of XYZ. So right now you're at a fork in the road. You can either decide to move forward and start solving this problem today, or you can wait, keeping things exactly where they are. But waiting isn't natural. It's still a decision and has consequences. So which direction makes the most sense for you? Okay? And by helping them see that waiting isn't a neutral decision, you push them toward action without being forceful. And that's a big deal. You have to get them to see that waiting is not neutral. Waiting is negative. Waiting is what they've always done. Waiting is what they've always pushed the ball down. Okay? So you need to help them see that it's not neutral, push them toward action without being forceful. And what this will do is this will shift the focus from I don't have time to I need to prioritize this right now. So those are the 5 objections. You master those 5, and your sales conversions will go way up. So what I want you to do is I want you to practice these scripts. So once again, if you would like these notes, how many pages is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pages, and it's double-sided. That one has nothing on the back. So it's 11 pages. If you want these 11 pages of notes of how to overcome, look, see this? How to overcome the 5 big sales objections. This is part of my Rev Method process. Okay? If you want this, just simply put notes in the comment, and I'll get this for you. If you guys are inside in night school, this will be in the library here a little bit later on. But what I want you to do is I want you to get these notes, and I want you to practice these scripts out loud until they feel natural. And then I want you to role play with a partner to refine your responses. So if you're inside of night school, I want you to find somebody else in night school and role play with them. Okay? Somebody in your pod. Go to your coaching pod on Tuesday or Thursday, and John will be in there and bring up, hey guys, I need somebody to role play my sales objections with. Who wants to do it? And somebody will volunteer, and you guys can role play objections with each other. Number 3, I want you to track your objections on sales calls and analyze patterns. So inside of night school, we have a software called Archer, named after my son, and it's where I go in there and you can track your sales calls and exactly what happened. And in there, I want you to see if you can start analyzing patterns for the types of objections that are coming up. Okay. Number 4, I want you to stay confident and remember that you're not a salesperson, you're a guide, and your job is to partner with them to guide them to a solution of the thing that they need mastered. Okay? And when you do that, I promise you that you're going to be able to close some deals. So if you're a coach, a consultant, a strategist, a teacher, a mentor, an implementer, you have a small business, whatever it is, and you're making sales with people, whether it's in person or on the phone or on a Zoom call like this, what I want you to do is I want you to learn how to overcome the 5 big sales objections. There's only 5. You overcome those, and great things will happen. Hey, if you're watching this on Facebook Live and you're not inside of our night school yet, I'd like to give you a complimentary 7-day trial inside of night school where we teach stuff like this every single Monday and every single Friday. We have live coaching on Tuesday and Thursday. We have experts in there who help you with things as well. Plus, we have all my core curriculum. Basically, anything that you want to learn about business is inside of there. Plus, you get access to my chat AI 24/7, 365 in the bottom right-hand corner of night school. You click the little yellow button and boop, I pop up. You have a conversation with me, just like I'm real. It sounds just like me, and it's been trained with over 5 million of my words. In fact, it's being trained on this right now, on exactly what I just taught. This will be in there, and it can literally act as your coach. What's fun is I'm going in there, and people are spending 2 and 3 hours with Chat AI, building out their businesses, creating copy, creating their sales processes, creating copy for their landing pages. This isn't some generic Chat GPT type thing. This is Chad GPT, where we're coming in there and we're helping you with stuff. So you get access to that. You have the software, the Archer software in there. Plus you get my white label version of GHL, which becomes the brick and mortar for your business. It's $99 a month right now. That's it, $99 a month. And you go in there and you get tons of stuff. I want to give you a free 7-day trial with that. And with the 7-day trial, we do a couple things. Number one, you're going to get access to this. Okay, it'll be in there. Like if you jumped on right now, it'll be there in about an hour. Okay, you'll get access to this. Plus, you'll get put in a coaching pod where you'll get live coaching 2 days a week. You get to come to Monday and Friday with me. This is the Mondays, but you'll still get to come to next Monday. Okay, you get to come to Monday and Friday for the Monday Morning Mentor. And then we will give you a coaching session where we'll help you map out your next 30 days of how you can get up and running, launched and live in the next 30 days inside your business. We'll give that to you complimentary. It's $99. I give you a free 7-day trial. Just simply put the word notes if you want the notes, and put the word trial inside the comments, and I'll have my assistant shoot you a link, and you just click on there and you're in night school immediately. You can get access to all the stuff. We're doing a fun AI series right now called Agent CEO, where I'm showing you guys how to take AI and implement it into your business so you can make a ton of money. We have the 10K in 10 days challenge, which is in there. It's live already. And then we're getting ready to do a fun thing, which is called your first 10 days, okay? So when you're coming to night school, it's not live yet. We start this next week. But it's fun because it's going to be your first 10 days, and I show you how to how to set up your software, how to get the lead magnet going, how to get your opt-ins running, how to do $5 a day ads, and all the stuff that you need in your first 10 days, how to optimize your social media, how to do all the stuff to get you rocking and rolling so you can make money in your next 10 days. I give you sales scripts. I show you how to get your first client in the first 10 days, all the fun stuff. That 10-day fast track is on its way inside of Night School. Guys, it's really a $16,000 coaching program that we give you for $99 a month. It's honestly, it's one of the greatest things I've ever done in my coaching. I stand behind it wholeheartedly. That's why I give you a 7-day trial. Just get in and kick the tires, okay? And we'll help you out. And we'll get you cranking and get you going, and we'll do some really cool things. So awesome, guys. That's it for today. Don't forget, if you want the notes, just simply put the word notes inside the comments, and I'll have my assistant reach out to you and get those to you ASAP. If you guys are in night school, I'll be right there. We'll do some Q&A.